I got all I want, and I got all I need, and I got everything. I got you and me. All I want.
Marriage is the best.
Where's the intro song?
I do it in post.
You didn't used to.
Now I do. It's gone. You may never hear it again.
I guess it's been a while.
It has been a while. Welcome back. How does it feel back to how does it feel being back in the hot seat?
I don't know yet. I'll let you know when it's over.
Okay. Sounds good. That's wise. Well, today I have a very special guest, and she's really good, and she's great, and her name is Rebecca, and she's my wife.
Wrong soundbite.
That's okay. All right. So today we have a very special guest, and her name is Becca, and she is actually my wife.
Woohoo!
I think they're very excited that you're back. Whoever is inside of this yellow button that I just pressed.
They really like me.
They're like huge fans.
Yeah.
Okay. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about our cruise that we went on. We went on a cruise for our 10-year anniversary, and it was a blast and a blessing, and we're excited to share a little bit more about just our experience of it. A couple sessions, oh boy, counselor speak. A couple of episodes ago, I talked about kind of that sustainable system. And so basically, we're just going to give you an example of what it looks like for us to continue to sustain our marriage, and how we, just recently celebrated that system and kept it strong by going on a 4-night cruise to the Bahamas. So we've got some highlights that we're going to share with you, and that's it.
All right.
Cool. Do you want to start with your experience of all the highlighty things that we did?
I thought we were going to say every other.
Yeah. Do you want to start with the balcony? I feel like that was a good one for you.
Well, I mean, these highlights were definitely for both of us. But yes, the balcony in our room. Did you already mention that we got a free upgrade to that?
No, go for it.
Yeah, so we didn't book a balcony room, but we did end up with a balcony room with no extra charge, and we were not sad about it. It was amazing to wake up to the sunrise and go to bed to the sunsets and see them over the ocean, and to step outside of our room and be completely alone on a giant cruise ship with tons of other people, to just be completely alone but still be able to be outside and be on the ocean and overlooking everything. It was pretty amazing.
Yeah, your goal throughout the whole podcast was essentially to stay in the sun.
Throughout the whole cruise?
Dang it. It's so late. Your goal throughout the whole cruise was to stay outside, and my goal throughout the whole cruise was to stay in the shade.
Yes.
And so whenever we would find a space to sit down, there had to be both involved. So I would sit in the shade and be away from the sun, and then Becca would find a sunny spot nearby. And it was but our balcony was absolutely, I think, my favorite part of the cruise. Mm-hmm. The waking up to the sunrise, just getting to see the water and be so like close but intimate with how close we were to the ocean, and to just always be able to look out and sit out, and yeah, so that was such an awesome time.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could ever pull the trigger again, and I feel like the balcony this time kind of ruined us for
any future cruise.
Right.
Yeah.
To be inside.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit more painful next time.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's how they get you.
Yeah, that's probably why they did it.
So another highlight was basically we were able to be alone while we were cruising almost the entire time. You know, we ate alone a lot of the time. We were able to go to the pools and basically be kind of alone, just because of the way that the ship is set up. And, you know, in the time that we went, right. There were people around, but it really did feel like we were the only ones there most of the time. We actually were alone when we experienced the slides. The water slides, yeah. Because you had the brilliant idea of, hey, the first day that everybody goes off on their excursions, why don't we just sit back and just take advantage of the pools? Yeah. And so that was awesome. Yeah. There was literally no one in the water park on the ship. There was no one. Yep. It was crazy. Yeah. So we just we went down all the slides. I wanted to go down one of them twice because I thought it was really cool. And then that was it. It was a good deal. Yeah. So yeah, alone time. I mean, you don't really necessarily think of going on a cruise and being alone, but we were able to do that. I think that that's really, really important to us. We actually really enjoy spending time alone. And so that's really important to us to make this time and space for that. Yes. The infinity pool was really fun, and that is also something that we got to do. There was barely anyone else there. We did that when everyone else was getting off the ship and exploring. We stayed on and did the infinity pool, which was at the back of the ship, right next to the water, basically, right overlooking the water. And that was really beautiful and really peaceful too. And there wasn't really anyone else there when we were exploring it. So that was a highlight. That was a fun moment. It's actually the only pool that we visited twice. You know, we wanted to, I think so. Because we wanted to go back there. And we did. And we actually got in the water and swam around. I swam around while you stood still. And I acted like an ADHD child while you acted like an adult watching me. And, you know, that was a good, healthy dynamic. It was fun. I think we represented our marriage well in that. Yeah, so the infinity pool was really cool. I like how it butted right up to the end of the ship. So put your nose on the glass and look down and there's the ocean. It was super cool. I guess another highlight would be we were able to read a bunch of a book that I brought, The Mysterious Benedict Society. It's kind of like a teen mystery kind of a book. Really chill, really clean, really wonderful. But the writing is just brilliant and the characters are really fun and quirky. There's Disney Plus actually did put out a couple season series of this story. And it was great. So we were able to read through like 60% probably of that book while we were on the ship. Yeah, we read a lot. You brought the book and we were excited for it, but we did not expect it to be as good as it was. And we did not realize how much we would fall in love with it. Like instantly. When you started reading it aloud, we were just like, wow, let's read more. Yeah, it was like, should we go sit in the sun down on a deck or should we go to our balcony and read? And because of the way that the ship is set up, there's a couple of areas on the ship that butt up against restricted areas. And so what we found was that because no one was really accessing the restricted areas, nobody really had a reason to go that far on that deck of the ship. And so we would park ourselves right up against that restricted area where you needed like a key or a special pass to get through. And we just, we would sit there, we were basically alone and we could read, and just kind of enjoy time out and about on the boat, not just kind of on our balcony as well. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Comfy lounge chairs overlooking the ocean, me in the sun, you in the shade. That's right. Yeah, I had to force myself in a tiny little corner at the start because the sun wasn't at the right angle. So my shade grew eventually. It was good. So yeah, we were able to read. We watched some cooking shows. We did. That was kind of interesting because we've gone through these weird spurts of enjoying cooking shows like the Great British Bake Off or something like that.
Chopped.
Yeah, we've watched Chopped, Cutthroat Kitchen. But it had been a really long time, and
Years,
so we kind of had forgotten that we even, enjoyed those things.
Yeah. But that's what was playing on the TV in our room. And we were like, hey, we used to love this. And we still did. So that was fun.
Yeah.
We also watched a Korean drama that you had downloaded onto your phone. Did we watch the entire? We watched the entire thing.
Yeah, the whole thing on the cruise.
Yeah. So we love Korean dramas. So that was really fun, and it was a great show.
It was exciting and dynamic and kind of short. So it was kind of actually perfect to have along with us.
Yeah.
For the cruise. I think it was like 8 episodes long.
But each episode is like an hour.
Right.
Or
so a couple hours a day.
Or more sometimes. Yeah.
That's true. It was a good one.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed that very much. Do you want to hit number 5?
Oh, you're not going to read the rest of that, huh?
Well, I mean, that was very enjoyable, but we don't have to talk about too much. But we were able to find some fun, intimate time on our cruise ship. And that's really important and fun and a little bit more difficult to find when you have 5 children. Mm-hmm. So that was really special.
Yeah. Number 5, low stress. That's one of the things that we like the most about cruises is once you go and get there, you do not have to plan anything else, really. You just, everything is just right there, and it is all included and accessible, and there's just, there were a lot of people that we met on the cruise that had been married for a really long time, and one of the things that we talked about was like maybe it blesses marriages to go on cruises because you're not arguing with each other about where you're going to eat, or neither of you know what you're hungry for, or anything like that. It's a lot harder to drop the ball in traveling plans when everything's just already planned for you and there. So that's our kind of vacation, I think, at least right now. That was really nice. Just go, relax, enjoy sun, and not have to worry about anything else.
Yep. Yeah, the dishes didn't need to be done, and the food didn't need to be cooked, and the itineraries didn't need to be checked, really. I mean, we could, if we wanted to, go and be involved and engage in a quiz or whatever, right? Like a show. But we have so much freedom. It's a great way to like maximize your freedom, because our way of kind of cruising doesn't necessarily have to be everybody else's way of cruising. So it's a little bit versatile in that. There's lots of freedom and keeping our stress really low, the demands of life, especially when the demands of real life are very high. And I guess the last one was not making food. There we go. We didn't have to make any food.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Or think about what anyone else is going to eat and feeding them.
Or make them food.
Yeah.
And then they say, I don't want that food. And then they say, I'm starving and you never feed me. And then they say, can I have dessert?
And cry when you say no.
Yeah. That's stressful sometimes. So yeah, we really hit the jackpot on this cruise. There were some crazy things that went right that we couldn't have planned and we didn't plan. And that was pretty fun. One thing was that on our way to Florida, which is where we sailed out of, we were able to sit in the very front row of the plane.
Which we have never done before.
Yeah, and this wasn't like a nice plane. It was like a Sun Country plane, I think. So it was really small. So there wasn't like business class or first class or anything like that. But there were these like the front 3 rows or something like that had some sort of special privilege. And we were able to have a bunch of leg room and store our illegal carry-ons and all that good stuff. So it was a good time. The thing that I'm referencing that's like special privileges was on our flight back, we were in the second row and one of the flight attendants said that everybody in the first 3 rows gets a free alcoholic beverage if they show their Sun Country card. So it was like
which we don't have.
Which we don't have and we didn't do because we don't drink, but that's the like special privileges that I was referring to. Did you not hear her say that?
No.
Oh, yeah. So there was like some sort of status that was involved in that. Maybe.
Well, we also got our free balcony upgrade, which we mentioned, and that was the huge highlight of the trip. Yeah,
this specific ship, we didn't do any research on the ship. Basically, we chose it because of the cost. And, in our current season of life, we live pretty strictly on a budget and try and maintain that really well. And so in order to kind of fit the whole trip in the budget, we had to just kind of pick something that worked with our timetable and inside of our budget. And the ship that we ended up with was just gorgeous. It was built just a couple of years ago. It had these outer balconies that were built that basically allowed you to walk around the entire outside of the ship without having to go inside. Kind of, not quite, but basically. And there was like multiple levels that you could just walk around outside. And we saw other like peasant ships. It's
not going to work a third time, I promise.
Okay. We saw other peasant ships, and they didn't have balconies or like walkways outside, and
they just have like a pool area on the upper deck.
Right. Everything was just rooms.
Yeah.
And so there weren't any walkways. And I was kind of shocked that all the other like older built ships were built that way, just because it was so shockingly nice to be able to walk around outside on different decks. And so I found that to be very, very cool. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to go on the ship, it's called the MSC Shore. And it's awesome. It's super cool. And no, they didn't sponsor us. So thanks, MSC. Oh, I should probably take number 4 here.
I think you should.
Okay, so it was a cheap cruise. I'm going to go over the numbers and bore you. Becca, you can just kind of shut your ears for now. I'll turn your mic or your microphone. Nope, your headphones down. Okay, so here we go. This is so cool. She can't hear me right now, but I'll tell you.
I can still hear you. I'm sitting right next to you. I just can't hear you in my headphones.
Okay, she can't hear me right now. And I'll just tell you about that. About the finances. Okay, so the cruise was really cheap. If you're going to cruise, you're going to want to, in my experience, you're going to want to cruise in like January or February. Those are the months when, January, February, March, those are the months when I've found the best cruises. And we went on vacations to go in order to book it. And it was $465 for us to go. So that was the 2 of us for the 4-night cruise. No drink packages, no
Wi-Fi.
No Wi-Fi, no, we didn't do any spending on board. Like literally we didn't do any spending on board. We didn't buy any extra meals that weren't included. We didn't buy any excursions.
Included.
Yeah, if that's not what I said, then that is what I meant, yeah. And the reason we didn't do any of the excursions was because none of them really interested us. But I'm sure if there was one that we both would have been interested in, we could have done that. But that is true.
That wasn't the main point of our trip. Right.
And I mean, there's one excursion that I was kind of interested, but you wouldn't have liked it. And that defeats the whole purpose of, doing this together to fill us back up. So if you wanted to do an excursion at the end, when I give you kind of our total, you can just kind of add $40 to $120 to, depending on what you're going to be doing. We flew super cheap flights, Sun Country, $416, so $208 a piece. We did not buy bags or anything like that. So if you fly Sun Country or Spirit or Frontier and then you don't pack a bunch, you're really able to fly for relatively cheap. There were some necessary transitional meals, so we spent $45 on those. If you just like pack a bag of trail mix and use that, or granola bars, or something that you can do, you could reduce this cost by a good chunk by not having to eat in between, like when you get to the airport and then have to shuttle over. We had like a huge amount of time, like 2.5 hours or something like that before we got shuttled. So not everything went right, but it was all pretty great. Let's see. Oh, we forgot a couple things. We couldn't live without toothpaste and gum. So we had to buy a travel toothpaste because we didn't have one. And then we bought some gum to take on our trip. And like, this is the amount of detail that we're talking about when we get to our like final total. Like we're including the toothpaste and the gum that we bought to take on the trip.
Because we had to buy it at the airport. So it was
expensive.
Painfully more expensive than it would have been if we would have planned that.
And I did the math, and I think we could have saved like $4 if we wouldn't have spent it or bought it at the airport.
Which makes us sound so funny when we say it was painfully more expensive. But
it was so painful. That's all relative, right? It's like ratio. It's like the percentage of. Because if it was a percentage, it's like 40% more expensive or something like that. It was painful. Jeez. We did the underseat bag. You could add, $30 or $45 if you wanted to check a bag to the end total. No specialty dining or drinks. And let me just tell you, if you drink alcohol on a cruise ship, it is unreal what they charge you. I believe that the daily...
Well, say the non-drinkers.
It's crazy, man.
So, I mean... To us, that's just like a lot of money, but like the value of what the price is versus how you can drink unlimited alcohol to somebody who drinks might think that that's actually like kind of a great deal, because you know what I mean?
Yes, I think that you are very kind. And it's so expensive that I could not imagine justifying it. It's crazy. Okay, so the drink packages range from $35 a day for unlimited like pop beverages and no alcohol. And then I think it's like $108 to $140 a day for something like that, for specialty drinks or alcoholic beverages. And it's like all you can drink. So anyways, we saved $140-ish to not drink pop, and we saved like $500 by not drinking alcohol. So that was great. We each bought one small trinket, and each trinket was about $12. So if you don't want to buy a trinket, you could save yourself $24 or, millions of dollars because you're not spending those things. But we just chose to buy something small. If you buy, $50 to $100 trinket, and that's great for you, you just add that to the total. So we're trying to give you like, if you like are keeping tally of what the spending is, then you'll be able to figure out like what it would cost you. Is kind of the idea that I'm going off of as I keep saying these things. Gather free things. Oh, we got some free things for souvenirs for the kids. So we were able to come back with, I think like 7 or 8 different gifts for each of the kids.
Right.
It was kind of crazy.
All 4 of the girls.
Yeah.
Samson got one thing.
Yeah, a towel.
Yeah.
So yeah, we just got a bunch of free stuff. They give you free things in order to try and swindle you into spending your money.
Yeah, they just want to get you into like the diamond shops.
Yeah.
And they'll give you a free charm or a free charm bracelet. So we just went into all the shops that gave away those little free charms and little free charm bracelets. And so we ended up with 4 charm bracelets and like, I don't know, 4 charms
each
for
of them
each
got
of
4
the
charms.
girls
Yeah.
to put on their bracelets.
It was very sweet.
And then we collected seashells for them on the beach, which
Stickers.
they loved. We got free stickers, which they loved. We got a free towel.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got another free towel, which was the baby boys.
Yeah, number 4s.
Number 5.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
The baby boy.
Towel. The towel was for number 5.
And then our 2 things. I think that was everything.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And they were over the moon. The girls were over the moon with the things that we brought them. And our oldest had a really fun idea when we gave them the gifts. She was like, we can collect charms from everywhere we travel from now on. Anywhere we go. And they were just super excited about it. And I think that's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, they did a great job receiving them. I think that they were pretty excited, and we were able to kind of share the trip with them without breaking the bank.
Yeah, and
But
they have no idea.
we are so cheap. It is not even funny. We went around. We
many
won't tell
shops
you
do
too
you
much.
think we went into?
We can't tell everyone. We'll keep that part hidden. No, we did. We went in anywhere we could find like a small little trinket. We just like spent an hour and a half, maybe just like walking around trying to gather as many as we could so that we could have a nice little gift for the kids. So that was good. We did not spend anything on board. So if you want to spend on board, you could buy a pop for $3.50, which is ridiculous. You could buy gelato for $4.
We're going to judge you if you do.
No, of course not. Just don't tell us. Gelato was $4. I actually thought about buying some gelato. I thought that would have been nice to try.
Because we went to one of their demonstrations and you won a free one.
I won a free affogato.
Okay, right.
Which is
so sorry.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay.
I know you're a snob now.
Once I got that free affogato, I was snobby the rest of the trip.
Forever.
It happened very early on. Yeah. But it was really delicious. Oh my word. It was so good. We could have played bingo for like $20 or $50. We could have watched we were going to like watch a movie on our TV in our room, and
because we thought it was free.
We thought it was free. So we were like clicking through. We finally found a movie and fail. They give us like $10 and we were like, no way. You're just trying to get money out of us.
Yep.
Anyways. Yeah, if you want to buy stud earrings, you could buy a $350 0.75 carat earring.
And they're going to tell you it's a really good deal and it's a special deal just for you.
That's right.
And there was also a lot of gambling opportunities on the ship. There was quite a big casino and lots of people there at different times. So that would be endless amounts of money.
Yeah, it was pretty lame, honestly. Pretty lame. We had to Uber twice. So the Ubering cost us $34 and $28. So $63 for Ubering. We Ubered to the airport and then we Ubered home. So if you have a ride, you can subtract $68 from your total. Gratuity was $128. That is a required gratuity that they force you to spend for all of the wonderful help of the wonderful helpers. And we had some pretty awesome helpers. So
our favorite was the guy who cleaned our room. We ran into him almost every single time we were coming back to our room. He was either coming out of our room or like he was just about to go in. And
I don't think he cleaned any other rooms.
Yeah, he was just always in our room waiting for us to come back. And when we would come back to our room, if he was just about to come in, he would still come in. He would just come right in with us and do what he was going to do. And he was just so funny about it. And he was very sweet and extremely talkative. And if we asked, even if we said nothing, he would just talk and talk and talk at us. And he was so, so kind and funny. And then when we did ask him like one question, oh man, he talked for so long. And he just told us all about everything that we had asked him about, like way more than we needed to know. But we walked back in our room after we let him talk to us for, I don't know, a really long time.
15 minutes.
Yeah, like 20 minutes. We get back in our room and I'm like, I think he needed that.
Yeah.
He had some things to say about that.
He was really sweet.
He was so sweet. And he was super young.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
And he was, he was working really hard and sending money back to his family. And
yep.
It was very cool. So It was a good experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 128, that's like based on number of people and nightly rate. And so if you have more people or spend more nights, it'll be more than just that 128 for two people for like a 5 or a 7 night cruise. So you'll have to, I think it was $35 a day. No, it wasn't. 64 each, 128, 64, $16 per person per day. That's what it was. Moving on, we spent $100 to shuttle from our airport to our cruise terminal and then back. So 50 there, 50 back. So that was a really good deal. Much cheaper than Uber or anything like that. I think we saved like $30 by not using Uber on that. And then finally, let's see. Yeah. So I don't think you have our total numbers for everything. Because I think the food, we spent a little bit more on like transitional meals. It might have been more than 45. I can't remember. No, yeah, it was like almost 80. So anyways, if the numbers don't add up exactly, our total was $1,262.15. So that's what we spent, the two of us, travel, cruise, 4 nights, and it was wonderful.
We learned a few things during this cruise. Mostly, there was just not any space for us to, either of us, to plan for the travel-sized items that we needed, specifically toothpaste, lotion, and conditioner. I needed lotion for some sunburn that I got, and we are so cheap that in some of the shops that were selling lotion and they had samples for you to try. Oh, no. We just took that and put that on my sunburn and called it good.
It was, yeah. Oh my goodness.
So,
sometimes I look back on how cheap we are and I'm like embarrassed for us.
Yeah. Like, but the bottle was small and it was like $21.
So. It was a small bottle.
Anyways, and I don't even know if the ingredients were, things that I would want to really
You still have skin.
Long term. Anyways. And then, conditioner, because it was hot and humid and my curly hair got very frizzy. And there wasn't anything I could do about it.
Yeah, and it still looked great.
So, there was that. Mostly just a lot of travel-sized things that I wish we would have brought. But we made it work because that's the kind of people that we are, and we didn't, suffer or anything like that.
No. Yeah, we were on a cruise. You wanted to bring more layers. You thought that it would be fun to have, or nice to have, linen pants. So, pants so you're not cold, but also when it actually gets a little bit colder, a little bit chillier at nighttime when the sun goes down. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that, but when the sun goes down, it does actually get a little colder.
I'm sure this is a revelation to all of our listeners.
You're welcome.
But linen pants and a cardigan, I think, would have been nice for me to pack. Because I packed for being in the Bahamas. And so I just packed all summer stuff. And I did not plan accordingly for the chillier mornings or evenings.
Yeah, we were surprised that we wanted some clothing items that we hadn't thought of.
Yeah.
And so that was definitely something that we learned that will enhance our cruising experience next time.
Or even inside when the AC is on.
That's true. Yeah, it was quite cold. Yeah. They did a good job keeping it down. You also thought that it would be nice to have a modest 2-piece. Yes. Instead of a 1-piece.
All the swimsuits I packed were 1-pieces, and I realized that it would have been so much easier for me to have 2 pieces so that I could just
take care of things.
Well, yeah, you go to the bathroom easier and not have to come back and need to change into another outfit right away because, I just couldn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was good.
It was good? No. I realized next time I'll pack different swimsuits.
I was saying it was good that we learned. We're learning.
Sure.
We're learners.
Yep.
I didn't bring any sunglasses. I really need. I still need them. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
My eyes do not do well. That's the curse of bad genes and light-colored retinas. Balcony is nice to get for free. That was a really good thing to learn. Hadn't figured that one out.
I think it'll be nice to get for money too. Ugh. Number 7, you said arrive when the doors open to shows.
Yeah, so that one was we just went really early. Like whenever the doors were open for the show, we just went in and sat and chatted, because basically we were sitting and chatting and walking and sitting and chatting.
The whole cruise.
Right. And so when we arrived early, we got these really prime, like we had amazing seats. And
it filled up in there.
It did. Yeah, it was full. And so it was just nice to have really great seats to the 2 shows that we went to. And the shows were great. And so I was just really glad that we arrived early and got fantastic seats.
Bring a small handbag. My mother-in-law gave me a super cute, like straw bag to use in the Bahamas, and it was so perfect. But because we were so cheap and didn't like purchase bags for the flight, I could only pack a very small number of items into my little carry-on bag. And I actually didn't know that I could have like a purse, like a personal item. And if I would have known that, then I would have obviously brought that bag, and it would have been perfect. So that when we were walking around on the island and the ship, we could have our water bottle and our book and other things in there instead of having to carry them. It was a minor thing, but it would have completed the outfit.
Oh, yeah. And you're so complete when it comes to outfits.
I would not say that, but...
Let's see. What else
water
is
bottle.
on here? Yeah, oh my word.
We could not have survived our cruise without our giant water bottle that we filled up and brought with us everywhere.
Yeah, I snagged it like on a whim.
No,
like
I did.
As we left the...
I did.
Becca snagged it. It's good. It'll get it fixed in
Credit where
post.
credit is due.
Fixed in post. I'll say it right, and nobody will ever know that I didn't say it right, and you will be none the wiser.
Yeah, I grabbed a big empty water bottle on the way right when we were leaving out the door to go to the airport, because I knew we'd be thirsty at the airport.
Right.
That's what I was planning it for our traveling. And I didn't realize how helpful it would be to have on the actual cruise as well.
We filled it constantly. Like we never drink that much water, but we just filled it constantly and needed a lot more. And we wouldn't. Yeah, we were very blessed to have a large water bottle to walk around and share. Yeah, and then bring a fun book. I mean, that's been a really fun thing to do on cruises.
That was a highlight for us.
Huge.
Download a show on Netflix, because we were not about to pay for a Wi-Fi package. Those things, you didn't mention that in the financial breakdown, but that thing was super expensive.
Oh, you're right.
So we just downloaded the show on Netflix, so we had all the show that we needed to watch for free.
That was so nice.
We got a lot of advice for how to stay married for a long time from
Oh, yeah.
a lot of different couples that had been married for a long time.
This is our capstone.
That was really fun to talk to so many couples that had been married for a long time.
So we met 3 couples that were married 46, 2 couples that were married for 46 years. And that was remarkable. And so one of the couples that we met that had been married for 46 years, their advice for how to stay married for that long was to be crazy. Literally, that was it. Like, just be insane, and then you can make it. And then his spouse obviously said communication.
And she was right. And then the other couple that had been married for 46 years said, well, the husband said, "Yes, dear." Which I don't think he was the only person who said that, actually.
No.
But, and then the wife said commitment. And then the husband also mentioned to us, we go to church every Sunday and make our faith a priority. So that was super cool.
Yeah, yeah.
And we do that too. So, boom, we'll be married for at least 46 years.
There you go. We won't even be that old.
Well, that brings us to the next one. The 49 years, which is the first couple we met in the airport. And they said, get married young. And they had been married for 49 years, and they looked relatively young.
They looked really healthy.
And so we assumed they got married when they were like 18.
Yes, when we did the math of like estimating how old we thought that they were, and then subtracting
49 years.
the 49 years, they
Yeah.
must have been probably close to 18.
Yeah. And they had been on a lot of cruises.
Yeah,
That is another thing. I wish we would have mentioned that in our notes to remember too, but a lot of the couples that we met that had been married for over 40 years had been on like 20 cruises. And so that is clearly another piece of advice for how to stay married a long time.
marriages that cruise together stay together,
Yes.
and that's the rule. And
no exceptions.
you find ridiculously long marriages on cruises.
And nowhere else.
It's so great. So yeah, getting married young. So that was third place, 49 years. Second place with 53 years. Their advice: listen to your wife.
Period.
That's literally all he said. Just listen to her.
Yeah.
That's the important part.
And in
number
first place.
Number one.
Yep.
The very
was
first.
A really sweet couple. We talked to them maybe the longest.
We did, yeah.
But yep, they said 64 years, and they were like approaching their 65th.
Yeah, they were
wedding
close to
anniversary.
65.
Yeah. And they had great advice, and they said some really wonderful things. They said to be stubborn, meaning to stick with each other through the hard times. She just talked about how, your marriage, every marriage, just like there are highs and there are lows and there are highs and there are lows. So when there are lows, just stick it out, because there will be highs following this time of low. And find the things that you value in each other, even if you don't feel loving towards each other, was another thing that she mentioned.
Right. I remember her saying, like, I was just in the hard times. I looked at him and I was like, I'm not leaving. Like if somebody's going to leave, it's going to be you. And then he kind of had a similar sentiment.
Yes, they both felt that way. Like, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not leaving.
Yep. And
So that was
then
cool.
they talked about how when the kids were young and she was home with them, he didn't do a great job of being at home. And he would be, wasn't golf, was it? What was it? Softball.
Yeah, he had like
that
a bunch of
he
softball leagues he was a part
really
of.
into and was not at home. He'd be at work or he'd be at softball. And yeah, they mentioned some other hard times that they had that were really hard. And they were just stubborn to stick it through.
You could tell he was a little sheepish about that season of their life. Like
Which
he kind
is
of
crazy, because they'd been married for 64 years.
and they said that it was really early on that this was happening.
Yeah.
So
Like 60 years ago, and he's still.
sheepish about that season of their life.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was, I don't know, it was really sweet to see. I think that's probably another good, part of advice is to stay sheepish.
Yeah. And to admit when you did something wrong,
Yeah.
and to
Re-
apologize for it.
Reprioritize when you recognize that the priorities aren't quite lined up.
Yeah.
For example, if you haven't made a plan to get away from life and to reinvest and to enact your third sustainable system, the yearly biannual night away, then this is your reminder. So
Leave your kids. Leave your house.
yeah, live your life. Go to Duluth. I mean, if you live in Minnesota. If you don't live in Minnesota, you have no reason to go.
No.
That's not a dig on Duluth either, I don't think. Oh boy.
We love Duluth.
You guys are great. Just stay you. And yes, so we loved our trip. It was really refreshing. We came back very full. And we talked a little bit. I talked a little bit about that in episode 16 when we talk about that sustainable system. But yeah, if you haven't checked that out, you can feel free to check that out. Yeah. Do you have any last words?
End it with this. We encourage you to get away, whatever form that looks like for you guys, but to make space and intentionality for your togetherness.
Yeah. Well, that's like the whole point. That's like why we did this.
The end.
Goodbye, everybody.
I got you and me.
She hates it when I say that.
All I want, I got all I need.
I think maybe you should edit all of that out and just
Goodbye, everybody.